Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Market Insights with Linux, and welcome to this new video right here on Bitmine or BMNR, the stock. We're going to do a full update on Bitmine right here. We'll talk about what to expect. Hopefully, if you watched my video last week, which I think was on Tuesday, I'm not completely sure anymore. Hopefully you were prepared for the price action last week, right? Because ultimately 5 days ago, so that was, when was it? It was the 23rd of September, so that was last week, Tuesday, indeed. I told you it's most likely we're going to drop down lower, and that did happen, right? I mean, I think since I made that video, the price dropped down a total of 15%. At the maximum, and at this point of time it has recovered a little bit. It's down 6.5%, so I think that was the right call to make, even though honestly, look, I understand like the Bitmine community and the Ethereum community can be a little bit what do you call it, intense sometimes. So I understand the comments, but there was quite a lot of people hating and saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, we're going much higher. It's good to believe in a company and good to believe in a stock, but you do have to remain realistic as well, right? And last week we saw obvious signs in the price that we hit a major resistance level. We saw obvious signs in the price of Ethereum that Ethereum was going to pull back, or at least that Ethereum was weak. And that's why we pulled back. And I honestly still think that you should be aware of that. I mean, that you should be cautious of that. And a further pullback. And I do want to stress that long term, I'm bullish on Bitmine, right? Long term, I'm bullish on Bitcoin because long term, or Bitmine, because long term, I'm bullish on Ethereum. But if we take a look at Ethereum right now, I would still say it's relatively weak, right? We last week, we had a major bearish breakdown right here on Monday. Then we had a further bearish continuation on Thursday. And even more importantly, this is the first time that with kind of an aggressive sell-off, we've seen a breakdown in ETH BTC, so the relative strength of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, since May when we started to outperform Bitcoin. So this is pretty major. And yes, we can reclaim this the same way that we did back in June. But until we have done that, I think it's good to remain relatively cautious on Ethereum short term, while still being optimistic and bullish on the long term, right? So those are my thoughts. At this point of time, you can also see, I think Bitmine actually did something with the stocks. At this point of time, their market cap is $14.4 billion. So that's also quite a bit above the total value of their Ethereum. Obviously, this total value has decreased with the price of Ethereum. So that's a reason to be cautious as well. Equities in general today have been doing fine, right? So that's also why Bitmine is trading a little bit higher. But ultimately, we had quite a lot of momentum with this move up, which by the way was also called if you watch my videos. At this point of time, momentum is still down, right? So last week, after the pullback from Ethereum and after Bitmine started to follow that pullback, momentum has started to decrease. Pre-market is trading a little bit higher right now, but I would say that it's a little bit more likely right here that we're going to see a little bit more of a pullback, or at least a pullback back to the equal lows right here. I would argue it's a little bit more likely we're going to drop down into 45 and 42. And then from there, for now, I do think we'll be able to hold that level as support, but that very much depends on how Ethereum does as well, right? So Ethereum at this point of time, I would say is still relatively weak, but I don't expect it to fall down much lower, right? So that's also, I guess, a good thing to know, and potentially something optimistic to end this video with. But that's what I would expect for now. I don't really see anything at this point of time that would cause Bitmine to rally up higher here, except for the fact that Jim Cramer said that we got to be careful with Bitmine immersion technologies. That might be a reason to buy, right? But outside of that, it's obviously a joke. But outside of that, I think it's good to be cautious. I would expect a further pullback here before finding support. Not too much further down, I'd say. And then the next real rally, the next real surge in price, I would say comes when Ethereum also finds support. So I'll keep you updated on that, but at least for now, I think that's everything you need to know on Bitmine and the BMNR stock. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you want to be updated on Bitmine, if anything major happens, consider joining our Telegram channel, of course. It's all for free. And otherwise, subscribe to the channel. I make a video on Bitmine every single week. So hopefully I'll see you in there. But for now, have a great day, everybody. Take care. And bye.